Hello everyone, and welcome back to my Devlog series following my first solo game development project, a retro-inspired first-person horror game. Last episode was all about introductions and going over what the plan was going forward. This time we'll talk a bit more about how the prototype of the game has progressed and what's changed since last time, and then also run through what is coming next. But for now, let's start with what's been going on since last. The first thing I wanted to create for the prototype and the previous devlog was a concept area that could give an idea of what the game could be without actually having a lot of cool mechanics to support it, which ended up being the intro and outro teaser for the last video. And it ended up being really helpful, both through being able to show it to everyone here and getting some valuable feedback on it, but also looking at it myself and seeing what I really liked about it, what I didn't like, and what I felt the game could become from it. Now, I would really encourage anyone either having a hard time visualizing their game, or like me, not at all being able to draw things normally on a paper, to just start blocking things out in the engine and creating a lot of quick and dirty assets to put together and try to create a 3D concept area instead. What I took away from this was some ideas for mechanics that I wanted in the game, a lot of things that I wanted to update in how I make 3D assets, and just overall what I wanted the game to be going forward. So, with the playable area done, I put all my focus on completing all the planned mechanics that I had so far. The idea was to bring all the mechanics to a workable state before saying that the prototype was done. This ended up going pretty well, as I completed the flashlight functionality, modeled and textured it and put that in the game. The same goes for the camera the player has with them, which at the start could not really do that much, but more on that later, because when working on things that the character was holding, I got completely sidetracked as I decided I wanted to update the character animation as well, and ended up re-rigging the arms and trying to figure out how I could speed up animation a bit, since it was taking some time in Blender and I wanted pretty basic things from the animation in the end. This led me to just re-rig the character and import it into Unreal to animate everything in the engine instead. Now the plan was to use Unreal's new modular control rig for this, as it seemed like a really new nice way to set up control rigs and just start animating. However, after banging my head against it for some time, I just assumed that it is not working that great when you just have arms and not a whole skeleton. So I had to move over to setting up a regular control rig instead and connect it with a skeleton mesh, which in the end worked quite well considering. But this let me very quickly animate in Unreal instead of jumping back and forth to Blender, and I got some new animations set up for holding the camera and flashlight really quickly. Then back to working on more productive things. I also got a keycard and item pickup system ready with some UI elements to them, a work in progress pause menu, and lastly I finished a new note system with a UI and text that could be changed through blueprints. Now, I really wanted a note system in the game, as it could let players explore a bit more and find out what's happening, and also to help push players forward a bit. At this point, I had a lot of the systems in place for letting the players explore and progress throughout the game, but then it hit me, it feels like I'm making a walking simulator at this point. The main thing missing right now is some form of challenge or danger to the enemy to help build tension and to create some gameplay along the way. I don't want the game to heavily focus on having enemies or combat, and I don't really want to start adding guns or things like that either, which is where the camera comes in. Now, the camera itself will kind of act as a safety object and a way for the player to defend themselves. The idea I have right now is that the enemies that are roaming the station can be immobilized using the camera, so that if they start chasing the player, they can bring up the camera, take a photo of them, and freeze their movements for a short time. However, the camera use may also attract other enemies to the player, so there will be a bit of a risk-reward system for using it, and also to make sure that you just can't spam it to get to safety. This meant that I needed to add some more functionality to the camera, so you can now lift it up and see through it, as well as take photos with it that creates a flash that freezes enemies in the line of sight of the camera for a short period of time. I also got a super basic version of the enemy up and running. It's just a box with a nose right now, but it can at least roam around, it can detect the player through sight, it can chase them, lose sight of them, and stop chasing if it doesn't see you. Now, if you have any interesting ideas in regards to enemies, please do let me know in the comments. I'm pretty cautious right now with what to do with dangers to the player, as I don't want the game to lean too much into enemies chasing you all the time, but I do feel that there should be some different enemy versions posing different threats to the player as they explore. Finally, I've been working on some grey box versions of some more areas of the game, with the aim to be able to run around them a bit and get a better sense of what scale areas should be in and how they should look. Here I've mainly focused on boxing out a larger common area that will have some corridors running through it and some living quarters. Same as with the security room, I won't actually end up using this later since most of the areas will be built with tile sets, but it's a great way to quickly get some testable areas up and running. All in all, that's most of the things I've gotten into the game so far at least. As I mentioned, my main goal for the prototype has been to get functionality done to a basic degree, and test it if it works together, which honestly I feel it does. I'm at the point where I want to start working on adding more stuff to the game to build on the foundations I have. There's still a lot of features and functionalities that I want to add to the game, but I can use the basics I have now and build on them. I've started to fill out the Trello board a bit more also, with some more specific things that I'll be needing going forward, and I also started on my design documentation so that I can keep things organized and not get lost in just adding stuff to the game. So, what are the next steps? Well, with everything I wanted done for the prototype, I'll try and put everything into a very short playable area to make sure everything works well together, and then move over to work on the main game's vertical slice, which is pretty much a small portion of the game that's polished up to releasable state, both in art and functionality. Which is great to have since it can be used both as a demo, a testable build, and a reference for what quality level the rest of the game should be. Right now, the vertical slice will most likely be from about the start of the game and include the security room as well as the first wing that the player can explore. Since it should be enough of an area to showcase most of the mechanics of the game and also be long enough to be able to use as a demo for future playtests and things like that. Everything I made here in the prototype map will be used as a base for how things should look going forward. However, instead of, for example, having a really large mesh being one area, I'll start building mesh tileset and rebuild each area, making them more modular and a lot more manageable if I need to change the layout a bit. The same goes for the 3D models I've made so far that you can see here. I'll use them together with further reference images to create the final versions. I also actually plan to make a video tutorial on how to create some of the models, both with Substance Painter and Photoshop, so do keep an eye out for that if it sounds interesting. I'm also trying to read up a bit more on and watch some videos on puzzle design and things like that, since I think it could be an interesting addition to the game to add some environmental challenges as well that you would have to think through. Though I'm not the world's best puzzle expert in any way, and I don't want to end up with a bunch of puzzles that makes no actual sense, so we'll see how that goes later. And thanks to a lot of the questions recently regarding how water works in Unreal Engine, I'm also starting to look into if some flooded area could be added to the game and how that could work. Personally, I find cramped flooded areas in games extra creepy, so it could be an interesting addition to one of the explorable areas. And on that note, if you do have any ideas of some of the areas of the research station could be, or some fun environmental challenges, comment down below and let me know. All the feedback is really appreciated, and I do go through all the comments for each video. I can also add that if you want more frequent and smaller updates on how things are going with the game, or ask questions, or just join the community, I've started a fancy Discord server for everyone to join. I'll link it in the description, and you're more than welcome to join in from the start, and hopefully we can build a helpful place for people who enjoy making and playing games. Well, that's everything for me this time around. I'll try to get the next video out a bit earlier if possible, as long as there is enough new things to show off. But for now, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.